Hello everybody, my name is Star Raptor and welcome to the channel. This is my spoiler-free review for WandaVision. It is a 9-episode series. Yes, it's only one season and it is on Disney Plus. It stars Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda Maximoff and Paul Bettany as Vision. So this takes place after the events of Endgame, and that's about as much into the story as I'm going to get, because this show deserves you to watch it without knowing anything at all, because that is really half the fun with this series. As you probably have seen, this show dabbles across all different eras of television in such a fun way while still connecting everything. So we go from the 60s, we have the 50s in there as well, going all the way up to the 2000s. So we get to see all these different kind of storylines that interweave through the different eras of TV. So we're seeing things that remind you of Bewitched. We're seeing things that remind you of the Partridge Family, of Malcolm in the Middle. So it's really fun getting, those episodes where they have a thematic resonance that really deals with how things were done in those eras and those decades of TV. We're seeing how the acting changed, how everything with the special effects changed, how the camera shots changed, all that good stuff. And it wouldn't be this good unless we had such great actors such as Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen, who really just give it their A game. And now these were, to me, characters that were sort of minor characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We didn't get a whole lot of Wanda. We didn't really get a whole lot of Vision when you compare to the screen time of characters like Iron Man, of Spider-Man, of Hulk, of Thor. All those guys got way more screen time. So for this being the first Disney Plus show, I was just really intrigued and really hooked that we're getting these characters fleshed out so much more than we would have with the movie. Just think about it. We got 9 episodes. They range from 30 minutes to about 45 minutes in length. And we know more about Wanda and about her story than pretty much, all of, let's say, Iron Man's movies put together, kind of. We're getting that same kind of runtime to a certain degree with the fleshing out of characters. So that is opening up doors for lots of potential for other characters. We're getting Falcon and Winter Soldier and whatnot as well. Speaking of MCU, it's not just Vision, it's just not Wanda that are in the show. We have Officer Jimmy Woo, and we also have Darcy, and it's nice seeing these characters. We have a character from Captain Marvel named Monica showing up. Yes, that little girl that was like maybe 10 or 12, she's fully grown, and we get to see her story. And the way she gets integrated into the story is something that really answers a lot of questions for those of us that have watched the entire MCU, and that's about all I'll say with that. But one thing that makes us stand apart from any other Marvel Cinematic thing, not just the shows, but the movies in general, everything, is it doesn't feel exactly like the same formula you would get from a standard MCU movie, like action all over the place. No, you have to let it simmer a little bit. This is a series, and it's paced way differently than a movie. It's not that 2-hour blockbuster that people come to expect, and maybe people are thrown off by that, but I would just say, hey, give it a couple episodes, because there's this mysterious thread of what is going on with TV errors, and why is Wanda in this era, and it's all this crazy stuff that, yes, it does get to a rousing climax that is, what you would expect from a Marvel movie, which is fantastic for a series that can get that sort of budget. But for the majority of this series, it is more of a mystery, more of a kind of thing where you have to watch it, at least when I was watching it, every week. And I think that is the greatest thing about the way that these come out on a weekly basis, such as Mandalorian, without them dropping all the episodes like they do with the Netflix series, is you get to have this conversation. You get to have this deep dive with coworkers, with friends on a week-to-week basis of, oh, what do you think is happening next? Oh, they answer one question in an episode, but then they introduce 2 more questions that have you scratching your head. So it really does a great job of making this formatted for TV and still feeling like a Marvel thing, basically. But it's got a bigger budget than that stuff on Netflix, which I really love, by the way. Daredevil, Luke Cage, I reviewed all of them. You can check it out here. Way higher than Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., even though there is a nice nod to that. There's a lot of Easter eggs. If you guys have been paying attention, you're going to get so much out of WandaVision if you know even more of the deeper lore, just from the movies in general. Of course, every series is really defined by how it closes out with that last episode. And as much as I am like on a high after watching WandaVision, that final episode, I'm not gonna lie, disappointed me for a few different reasons. First off, they kind of subvert the fans' expectations of a certain character from, and that's all I'll say about that. I do not want to elaborate more on that because, again, you guys got to watch this for yourself. But it was a little bit weird how they teed something up for so long and then it just doesn't happen, and it's not just coming from the perspective of whiny fanboys saying I wanted this, I wanted that. Like we learned that from Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. We can't build up these expectations. But when they almost telegraph exactly what's going to happen and they pull the rug out from underneath you, that leaves something to be desired. And I think I have the right to kind of feel a little bit disappointed when something like that happens. And I don't think I'm the only one out there that agrees with that sort of sentiment. Also, I wish there was a little bit more closure at the end of this series, because I do find myself scratching my head for certain decisions that were made, for the whereabouts of certain characters, or just the repercussions of certain actions that I would have liked to spend at least 5 minutes on figuring out. All right, how are these people reacting? What's going on over here with this character? We just got things tied up way too quickly with explanations that weren't, I don't think, clear enough, at least for me. And I pay attention to this stuff. And I can only imagine, just like the average viewers, like my parents are just like, okay, what's happening? And I do understand that this is, part of the MCU. So you kind of have to give it a pass, sorta, because you do know that some of these stories might get picked up in a future movie or a future series. But still, as a standalone series, I still think they should have tied up the loose ends just a little bit better. With that being said, I'm going to give WandaVision a score of an 8.5 out of 10. Disney Plus took a little bit longer to get started with their original content. I know we got The Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2, which are phenomenal. And now Marvel is starting very strong out of the gate. This is just the first of like 4 or 5 different series from them coming out. We are on the precipice of getting Falcon and Winter Soldier. We're going to get What If. We're going to get Loki. We're going to get Hawkeye. I think we might even getting Ms. Marvel as well. So there's a lot to look forward to, on top of like 4 movies coming out with, let's see, we have Black Widow, we have Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, we also have the Eternals, and we have Spider-Man No Way Home. So it is a crowded year for Marvel. Hopefully we can all keep track of everything, because there is a lot going on in this universe in post-Endgame. So now I'm going to turn it over to you guys. What did you think of WandaVision? Let me know in the comment section down below. That is going to do it for me, Staraptor. For more on movies, hopefully we get a lot more to review coming up, and more on series. You can stick right here to the channel. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe so you never miss out on any future content on the channel. That is going to do it for me, Staraptor. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram @StarRaptor.